Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Maybe you need a timeout.
Welcome to the Luke and Rory podcast. Here are two guys, knuckleheads if you may, who jump in front of a camera and do a Facebook Live show.
You know, it's exciting.
They've decided to take that Facebook Live show and put it into a podcast.
Oh, good for you.
Why? Because can you really get enough of Luke and Rory?
That's a good one.
Meet Luke Weaver, who's known for his dead sexy hair.
You are an awful man. You are truly a disappointment to us all.
Meet Rory Pitts, who's never found an apple cup he can't be disappointed about.
I'm telling you, that man does not look stable.
Two guys who went to the same high school, love the same music, love sports, love movies, and love their families.
Look at these clowns. Hand-picked monkeys.
All right, looks like the boys are caffeinated and ready to go.
Oh, you want some coffee? You want some coffee?
That's enough nonsense. Now let's join the show.
Sound good?
It always sounds good.
What up, buddy?
Bro, I haven't heard from you all week.
Intentional. I figured your wife ever tell you she just needs a break from you?
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's been great. It's
Yeah,
been a
that's
great
what
week.
That's what I figured. I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? We might just need some time apart.
I literally told Christy yesterday, I said, well, I think our partnership's over.
No.
She's like, why? Well, I haven't heard from Luke in 3-4 days.
I kept thinking about calling you.
And then I told her, I said, it's actually been nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I was like, what do I have to tell him? Like,
same crap, different day.
yeah. So I was like, I'll see him Thursday.
Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. Well, there's one person. I think it's you. Yeah, you're watching.
Am I?
Yeah, I think you're watching the show. Yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Luke and Rory show. Luke, Rory, now that we got that taken care of.
You know what my favorite line is in that whole thing, in that little intro that you just did, or that you put together?
Yeah.
I said, can you ever really get enough Luke and Rory? And I'm like, if my wife was watching, she'd be like, yes.
You know what's funny is every week.
By 8 a.m.
Every week that line pops up and we both say the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah. I totally have enough of
I'm
Luke
tired
and
of
Rory.
ourselves. If I could avoid us, I would.
Oh, man.
Such is life, dude.
Well,
such is life.
Freaking crazy weather earlier this week where I thought the old Pitts Plantation. Oh, am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say plantation?
Say whatever you want, dude.
The Pitts compound. I thought the Pitts compound was going to blow away.
I mean,
into a
if
lake.
you think about it, like you just take off the words ranch, farm, property. Like,
Mariah's here. Good morning, Mariah.
Yo. So the plantation, the wind, right?
Bro,
Got a little wild.
I'm watching trees because where my desk is situated in my house, I can look out to the DNR land. And those trees, I swear, they're, woo, buddy.
We lost power twice. Yeah, we lost power twice.
We didn't lose any power.
Dude, we only have, I don't know if you know this, but they use paper clips to do the line out to Graham. Because it's, it's metal. It keeps the circuit going.
So that's the one thing that PUD3 does really well. I've been very happy with. But yeah, we didn't lose power at all. And I'm hearing stories of everybody over here losing power. And
Well, that, and I just... Yeah, you'll be out of the house in a couple weeks, but
Mariah says, thank you doing the event. You're welcome.
Absolutely.
This is our public service. This is our court mandated public service.
Boy. I don't know what service we're giving, but there she is, Carrie.
Good morning, Carrie.
President of the Thurston County chapter of the Luke and Rory Fan Club, and 60 plus days clean and sober. Well done, kid. Well done. Congratulations. We're happy for you. We're proud of you. So I just completely redid our chicken and duck area.
Okay.
And I put in sweet fencing. Like, it's up high, so they can't get out unless I want them out, and all that. And so, and I go out there in that wind's blowing. We got those big trees right there. And I'm like, I swear to the gods of chicken fences, if a branch comes down, I'm going to go out and chop that tree down and just hope it isn't at my house. Like, oh my goodness.
It's funny you mentioned that because Mr. Ryan had his graduation on Saturday. And
yes, he did.
this boy has a nice sports coat. Wears it to church, wore it to the graduation.
Yeah, he was dialed, bro.
And I
was kind of into him.
He took off the sports coat, hung it up at Sumner High School, which...
Oh, no.
And he went and did his graduation thing. And this was the room where everybody was supposed to hang up their stuff. We go back in there. His sports coat is gone.
Oh, it's gone.
This sports coat, we finally got dry cleaned last week after probably 2 years. And it's gone.
Unbelievable.
So we've been in the process of talking to the organization. And I got an email this morning that said that they sent out an email to everybody who was there. And nobody's responded back. And then they reached out to Sumner High School. Sumner High School said, we don't know, maybe, maybe not. So I got to follow up with Sumner High School. But all that to say, it's kind of like with your chicken coop. I'm like,
yeah, right when you do.
Right. I finally get the stupid thing dry
get
cleaned.
Off my butt to do the job.
Yeah. And it's gone.
And God laughs at me.
Oh, my gosh. Carrie, it's Carrie's birthday. She's 29 again.
Oh my gosh,
oh,
Carrie!
Man, to be 29 again.
Don't look a day over 28. Let me tell you,
to be 29 again.
Honestly, honest to God, I don't care how many years you are. Carrie, you look great. Good for you.
Let's see. That was. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No, wait. 29.
Rory's house.
So that would be. So I would be. Oh my gosh.
Illegal.
04.
Yeah.
I was 29 back in 04. Oh, fudge. Paul says, good morning. I'm getting on the Fauntleroy ferry heading to Rory's.
Rory, stop mathing, Rory.
Mathing hurts.
Man.
Come on over, Paul. There's nothing going on.
Yeah. Boy.
Other than I'm going to get new neighbors.
Oh, that house got bought, huh?
They were out there with their agent Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure it was their final walkthrough.
What do we look like here? What's the initial feel?
I'll tell you off camera.
I almost
because
knocked my coffee over. No, don't tell me off camera.
Because, well, here's the thing. I haven't talked to them.
All right, Joe.
Yeah. I haven't talked to them, so I don't know what kind of people there are. But
you get a vibe.
If
you were to see
I told
them
Ryan,
at church, would you go up and say hi?
Oh, I'd say hi to them.
Yeah, in passing.
Like I told Ryan, my biggest hope is that they're not a-holes. I mean,
well, you know, they're probably hoping the same things, and you'll probably both be disappointed. So,
you know, and that's why I said to Christy and Ryan because we were watching them from the window.
Send Christy first.
All right? I think I will.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I'm more disgruntled than anything that my privacy on that. I can't go out that side and take a leak anymore.
I can't go out naked on that side of the house.
And let's be honest. If you live in Mason County and you're a dude, that is how you gauge the privacy on your property. Yeah. Can I go outside and take a leak?
Yeah.
And I can't on that side anymore. I definitely can't on the other side.
There's times in the winter that I forget that the foliage goes down, and I go out and take a leak. I'm like, oh. Now, granted, those
nothing to see here
are a few hundred yards away, so I mean, it would take a serious effort on their part. And
Paul is going to a friend's cabin,
estate
in Briar. Wow.
All right, have fun with that, dude.
So Mr. Ryan, he graduated on Saturday. It was fantastic.
The food was great.
Dad pretty much kept it together the entire time. The only time that I started getting a little emotional.
I know when it is. Go ahead. I know when it is, though.
Do you?
Well, maybe.
So Ryan had a teacher in his life that made an impact. And mine was Mr. Landrum. In 5th grade, mine was Mr. Landrum.
Classic.
Mr. Landrum kicked my ass in order. Sorry, Christy. Christy didn't like how much language I used last week. And you know what? Watching it back, I kind of thought, yeah, maybe I should dial it in a little bit.
I was like, oh, Chris doesn't watch this.
But it was Mr. Landrum was the guy who set me straight in 5th grade. I started 5th grade as a little jackass, and I ended 5th grade as a bigger jackass.
As a big jackass.
But anyways, Ryan has his Mr. Landrum. His name is Terry Deffenbach, Mr. D. And Mr. D.
Cheers, Mr. D.
Yeah, Mr. D was able to allow Ryan to express himself, but also put Ryan in his place when he needed to be put in his place.
Which I would think is important.
Absolutely.
For Ryan, because Ryan is very smart.
Yep.
And I think sometimes he probably thinks he's the smartest guy in the room at all times.
Oh, yeah.
And if you and I are around, that's true. But anyway.
So I reached out to Mr. D a few weeks ago. I said, hey, Ryan's got a graduation ceremony, and we'd love to have you come and support him. And he said, I'll absolutely be there, which was really cool. And so we were about 15 minutes before it was all going to start, and I saw Mr. D up in the stands, and I thought, I'm going to go grab Ryan real quick because this is all going to get lost in the shuffle.
Okay.
And so I went and grabbed Ryan. I told Ryan was in line like he was supposed to be, and me, the rule breaker, I'm like, oh, you come here. So grabbed Ryan.
Like in North Mason, kids.
Went back over into the auditorium, and I pointed out Mr. D to Ryan, and Ryan went up there, and just the smile on Ryan's face and the smile on Mr. D's face got me emotional. Okay. I thought, how freaking cool is that someone that you look up to that sets you straight, that made an impact in your life, he's here to support you, and that he's there to it was just a great moment. And I didn't go up there. I stayed down below, and I don't know what their conversation was. Ryan told me a little bit, but I just told him, I said, that's between you and Mr. D. That's your conversation. And that's probably the most emotional I got there. It was really cool to see Ryan up there. And
I thought because I went to the reception.
Yep.
Great food, by the way.
I know. I spent all day not making it.
Oh my gosh. Great to see Ryan, by the way. Walked in. I saw you point out that I was there immediately. He came up. He's not a big hugger. I am, and I'm bigger, so I won. I gave him a hug. He was definitely I'm like, okay, that's enough. But I still let him know I was proud of him. And anyways, but we sat down, and then they put the graduates up at some point, and they wanted them all to say something.
Oh.
And you could tell they went to Ryan first, and he wanted to club a baby seal. He was not happy about it. Like, he got the mic in his hand, and I was, first off, knowing that that's not his forte, was proud of him for just not like fighting it and giving it the go. And I thought in his own way, he got out what needed said.
Yeah.
And I thought for a minute you were a little misty, like you were just proud of him in that moment.
Ryan actually had a moment like that about 2 weeks ago at his Catholic schoolhouse, where they had all the seniors say something.
Okay.
And he was a lot more vocal at that time. And
I think they caught him off guard.
And I can tell you at that moment, that's the first time I've really seen Ryan emotional, when it was hitting him at that moment.
Yeah.
That life is going to change. Like, this is all.
Yeah, rent was due the next day.
And, oh yeah. And to Ryan's credit, we were walking around the lake yesterday, and to his credit, I was talking to him about some of the things we got going on, and he's such a good kid. He's like, well, Dad, I'm going to get a job, and I want to help carry my weight around here, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like,
no, I know.
buddy, the fact that he is so proactive and wanting to help around the house, I'm thinking to myself, bro, I don't want you to help because you're so proactive.
Yeah. And
not a knock on his siblings, but I didn't see his siblings trip over themselves to help out.
No, that is a knock on them. Yeah, absolutely is a knock on the siblings.
But yeah, it was great. It was him and his friends, Grace and Thomas, were graduated as well, and it was a great day.
It was.
I think we were there until about 8 or 8:30 because we were on cleanup detail too. So
sorry, dude.
Yeah, it was a long day.
That was a long day.
But it was great, and to see my son Ryan graduate, great. It was absolutely great to know everything he's been through.
Yeah.
And to see him up there, and we got to give him his diploma.
I know, that was great.
That was so cool.
I love that.
You know what? Let me find something.
I love that. Oh,
I'm surprised I didn't upload something already. Not a video.
Start playing some Boyz II Men or something. Although we've come.
So okay, I have to admit this. So this will work. We'll put this one up. There we go.
Dude, why does my phone just freeze every time?
I don't know. I don't even know if people are giving comments now. All right, here we go. Look at this guy.
There he is.
Look at that guy right there.
Boy, that guy looks just like you, dude.
Man. No, he's handsome.
No.
He's handsome.
Yeah, but this is what he has to look forward to.
I actually was talking to him about that the other day. I said, you know what? If I can go back in time and be your age, I would go for a walk every single day.
Yeah.
Go for an hour-long walk.
I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, I hope you think my dad's somewhat good looking, because that is what I'm going to look like. So we got problems if not.
No, so what I was going to tell you is when we were driving to the graduation Saturday morning, I went ahead and I pulled up the old Vitamin C graduation song.
Oh yeah, dude. Apply sunscreen.
Yeah. And I said, Ryan, this song's for you. So I let him listen to it, and he was kind of like, oh, okay. I got my sunglasses on because I'm listening to the song through his eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, his friends are going off to different places. He's no longer gonna be at school.
Isn't that crazy?
But I got my glasses on, so nobody knows.
Yeah.
Keeping it cool. But Ryan's like, oh, that's cool.
I think we're past the age of keeping it cool, dude.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for playing that song.
Yeah. Dude, my phone is tripping.
So, all right. Well, next week we'll be talking about your hot mess of a life.
Can I for a minute say
Go
one
ahead.
thing?
Go ahead. I now pass the baton on to you.
I was joking last night because we were at another awards thing for her.
I know, bro. Okay, it's getting old.
I know. That's what I said. I was
Maddie,
like, can I have a
congratulations, but it's getting old.
I know. It was funny because I joked. I'm like, someone asked me, like, how many of these did you get invited? I was like, I'd tell you, like, how many more times awards she's gotten. But anything times 0 is 0. So, so she's obviously, I think I said it last week, she got 3 different honor cords. She got out. I told you guys she got outstanding senior. She got a big medal for that she wears at graduation. And then last night we get an invite. It's invite only, like a little more intimate senior awards. And I assume that we're gonna show up and she's gonna get like, I figured she'd get an award for journalism or something like that. And they come with plaques. Like I'm gonna post about it later. I'm good now. I'm rolling, by the way.
All right, I just want to make sure.
And she was awarded the Student Athlete of the Year award.
That's no small feat.
No, not at all. She was awarded the Most Inspirational in Journalism award. She was awarded, and here's the 2 big ones for me, because like student athlete, like that's who she is. Journalism, I get why her peers and stuff would vote her that way. She runs a lot of she pretty much runs the journalism in the newspaper. Okay. But she was awarded by the state of Washington the WGEA Outstanding Achievement in Journalism Award. I mean, that's like a big like college type resume building type award. So that's not from the school. That's like, hey, this is recognition for what you've done on a state and national level for this.
I'm sorry, all I can think of was the Grinch. When she walks up there, I was told there was a check.
Yeah. A major award. Yeah. And then on top of it, there's a few awards at the end that aren't like, so like, one was student athletes, which is, only available to student athletes. So that's a smaller pool. And then the journalism awards, super proud of her for 2 journalism awards. And then at the end of it, they give away, it's submissions are taken by the faculty. It's voted on by the faculty. And then she was voted the most inspirational senior at PHS by the faculty.
Dang.
I know. I know.
All of this in spite of your effort.
In spite of me. Yeah. I know. Imagine what she could have done without me. Like she'd already be president. Yeah, I know. Even Rachel was like, good thing I came into the picture.
No kidding. Yeah. I was about ready to say, wasn't that like Rachel for your class?
Pretty much, yeah. So she got it's the Karshner Inspirational, and it's all about like I got the whole thing, I'm gonna put it up, but it's like character, work in the classroom, work in your athletics, one of them's called self work, or like your ability to like just drive yourself on it. Anyways, we were actually shocked. We had no idea. We were already past the Journalism and Athlete Awards, so we're like, all right, we're just going to sit this out. And then Doctor, I can't remember his name, he comes out and he's talking for a minute, and then all of a sudden he was just like, he's saying all these cool things. I'm like, man, this person kicks ass. I'm like, they're awesome. And then he was like, Madeline Weaver, and Maddie goes, like gasped. So, anyways,
me?
I know.
Me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, stop. Yeah. So I joked with her on the way out. I was like, man, going to an award ceremony is like going with the cast of Oppenheimer, like just constantly getting up and down. So,
well, what I'm starting to think about with all these awards that she's getting is the school district tried to make so many more students get awards with so many different awards out there. But nope, here comes Maddie. I'm just going to sweep them all.
I was like, man, I was super proud of her. So anyways, obviously super proud. And I think that's the last awards ceremony. But you know what they did yesterday that I thought was really cool, and this isn't just about her. This is about. I just think this is really cool. They have a thing called Decision Day at PHS, and remember we were talking about like trade schools and celebrating things are important.
Yeah.
So they have Decision Day, and all the seniors are in the gym at PHS.
Okay.
Parents are in the bleachers.
Seniors are like, can we get this over
There's
with?
a stage. Yeah, this was actually a ton of fun. The kid, Maddie said it's their favorite part of it. So they're all out there, and then they are. All of them are paraded across stage with what they're going to do next in life and celebrate it. So, like for UW, there was like 30 kids that are going to UW. So they were all called up like by name, and they walk up like this purple and gold, like fancy.
So these are the kids that we don't like.
Yeah, it was so funny because they were like, okay, next are the Cougs. Now listen, Cougs, dogs. Like today you're still friends. Tomorrow you can yell at each other. And so then they brought up all the Cougs, and then they start breaking it down. Well, Maddie's the only kid out of her class going to school in Hawaii. So they have theme music for everybody.
Oh, boy.
So when she walked up, they did a Hawaiian roller coaster ride from Lilo and Stitch. And when E came up from New York, they did New York, New York, you know. And they had all these different ones. But then they called up all the trade school kids, where they were going and what they were doing, and acknowledged them. And
taking care of business.
Yeah, and they celebrated it. They called up all the kids that are going directly into the workforce and talked about what they were doing and celebrated them and had music for them, whatever they were doing. All the military kids. One kid who we love, his name's Hector Reyna. He works up at the Y. He got accepted to some top-notch aviation school to become a commercial pilot. So they bring it. So every kid, not just kids that have athletic scholarships and stuff like that, like happens a lot, was brought up and celebrated. And then they all put on their cap and gowns.
What about the ones that are not graduating?
Yeah, well, they weren't there. So yeah. And
here's a lollipop.
When they came out, they put on their cap and gowns, and when they came out of the gym, the side door, the whole school was there, a big tunnel, and with the band and all that, like the drum, and they led them all the way to in front of the main like school building, and they all got in front there, and the drum corps started going, and all the seniors had hands. I'll show it to you later, but of confetti, and they do this thing, they're like arms around each other, and the music's going, and they're getting low, and like and then the one part hits in the drum, and they all throw the confetti in there, and they're just jumping up and down and yelling.
Nice.
It was really cool. And then they all got in buses. This is one of my favorite things. They all got in buses according to their junior high that they went to, and were taking their junior high and celebrated their junior high. They paraded through the halls of the junior high.
Good grief.
And had lunch with teachers and stuff there, and while in their caps and gowns. Yeah, and then next Friday they do it at their elementary schools. So they go to their elementary schools, they talk, they get paraded. So it's there's some cool traditions that the school district has in place, I think.
Yeah, I guess
celebrating. So that was that was yesterday.
Mariah says just listening while working. Okay,
Love
good.
it.
That's
Love
good. That's good.
So anyway, yeah, that was our day yesterday.
That's wow. That's really cool.
That was the one thing, because we're really looking at homeschooling the younger ones starting next year. But all the award season and all that kind of stuff, Brace was like, I kind of want to put it back in for high school just because like this stuff is cool, like all the. But I suppose that I suppose all the homeschool stuff and all that you guys have cool traditions, and the different co-ops have different traditions that are just different and really cool in their own way.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's a decision that you guys are going to have to make, because the thing was, before we put our kids into homeschool, that was my thought process. I enjoyed high school. Yes. Christy didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't her thing. And so my thought was, well, I want the kids to be able to do the traditional things and be a part of the student body and do all these different things.
Go drinking on the weekends.
And I look back at it now, and I'm glad that she didn't listen to me.
Standard.
Because I see how much further down the road Ryan is.
Yeah.
He would have been bullied in school. I can absolutely guarantee that. Not because he's a jackass, but because there are jackasses that would bully somebody like Ryan. And so for Ryan to be able to focus on building up friendships and scholastics, that's worth it to me. And the same for Bella. Bella wouldn't have been bullied, but I think Bella would have been a different person if she
Bella would have been the bully.
Yeah,
that girl takes no crap from anybody.
I think Bella could have been a mean girl if she had gone to high school. She's mean to me.
I was going to tell you, just sitting a couple times I had a chance over the weekend to sit and talk with her while you were off talking to people and stuff. Man, she's grown up well, man. Just well put together kid, thoughtful, intellectual, conversationalist.
You can thank her mom for that.
You talk to kids her age a lot of times, and it's just like, trying to pry things out of them, and it's awkward.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great conversationalist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, just like you, jackass. So, anyways, I really enjoyed chatting with her. So,
yeah,
well
she's
done,
a good
dude.
kid. She's a good kid. Like I've told Christy, we've done something right.
Yeah.
We got 4 kids graduated with one more to go.
And it was good to see Kaylee and Jess and John all there supporting your brother.
Yeah.
And your dad. Just cool to see everybody there.
Yeah. And my sister was there.
Yeah, his sister was there. That was fun. That was
great to see her. And
never quite know.
It means a lot. It means a lot when family will come and support, especially Ryan, because Ryan's had a different road than everybody else, and to still see people come there and celebrate him was really important. And I know, there were people that couldn't make it, or people that just didn't respond. You're off the Christmas card list, but but I mean, to me, it's like, I don't know if people didn't come because of me or not. Maybe they really truly had things going on, but you should have been there for him. And the funny thing is, you guys don't know who I'm talking about, because I actually have about a handful of people I'm thinking of right now that were invited and did not come
tough,
or
man.
tell us that they could not come.
It's tough this season, and I'm not making excuses for anybody. Because certain people should be there. But man, I'm looking at, like, we keep getting like grad party invites, and I'm like, did you all not talk to each other? Why are 3 of these at the same time on the same day?
Yeah, and the thing is that we had the 3 graduates that we had one party.
Afternoon, Drew.
We had one party. So, because we knew that was going to be a thing, and we've got crossover friends between the 3 families, and so it was perfect. We had all of them come to the same thing, and
absolutely.
But I've got nothing this weekend, but next weekend I've got a friend's their kid is having a grad party, and then in 2 weeks your kid's having a grad party. So we're definitely busy in June, and on top of that, Father's Day, 2 birthdays.
Father's Day's out the window for me.
Can I just say this? I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Our Father's Day tradition is we always go hiking somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. That ain't happening because, one, Maddie's mom, without thinking about it, planned a grad party at her house for Maddie that day, and then was like, "Oh crap!" And then so she called me, and I was like, "Don't worry about it. My dad's going to be in town, and my sister's going to be in town, and so we're gonna, we'll do something different. It's not a big deal. She can come over after." And so, there's so much. We got 2 grad parties on Saturday. We got 2 the following Friday. And it's not like it's kids we don't want to support. Like, one is Luke, Maddie's old boyfriend, who we're still close with. And then it's Alexis, who's like another daughter to us. And then next Friday, got Shiloh Hilditch, Matt's daughter, and Gabby Hillen, Ted's daughter, Ted and Heidi's daughter from church. And so it's like, we got to make it to these and see these kids and let them know how much we care about them.
Right.
So, and then Maddie's, I'm just going to be drunk. So, with half my church there.
So, what's funny is I asked Christy, I said, what is an open house grad or an open grad party? Is that what you guys call an open grad party?
Yeah, you just come and go as you please.
And what is that? And that's exactly what she said. And I said, sweet, we'll drop off Maddie's present, give her a hug, and then we're out.
I know. I jokingly told Rach, and I go, I treat everything like that. Every event is an open house, is an open party for me.
You know what? I'm so proud. I got to tell a friend on Sunday what an Irish goodbye was.
Did you get to tell him, or did they just get to experience?
No, he was telling me a story about
walked off?
How he just walked off, and I said, "Oh, an Irish goodbye," and he's Mexican, and he's like, "What is an Irish goodbye?" I said, "Exactly what you did. You just said, I'm out of here,' but you didn't tell anybody. In your mind, you said, I'm out of here, but you left." And his wife comes up and she says, "Which party was that?" He goes, "It was my mom's birthday." And she said, "What?" He goes, and then she says, "Did you tell your sisters you were leaving?" He's like, "No."
When Will Prince left, Will Prince used to do Irish goodbyes all the time.
Yeah.
That was his deal. So he had us going away party at their house, this big deal. And we didn't go into it with this plan, but partway through the night we were like, "Hey dude, we're Irish goodbye this dude. Like, all of us are." And so Mike, myself, Casey, Aker, a couple other guys that we know, we all went out on the back porch, like we were going out to have a beer and a cigar or something like that. And then we, one at a time, slowly worked our way around the outside of the house, and we all jumped in our cars and left. About an hour goes by, we all start getting text messages, "You a-holes."
That's what a good friend is.
You are welcome.
Drew says, we did an open house the day before graduation with just desserts. Nice job. Drew,
like
so I've got a follow-up from last week. I finished Dynasty, the New England Patriots.
The soap opera?
Bro, so freaking good. I was so sad.
I watched the first episode.
When it was over. Like, I was in a mini depression because it was so good. I wanted another sports thing so bad.
Another sports thing. Ted Lasso.
I know. He's trying to get me to watch Ted Lasso.
Let me explain something to you, though. This is how our relationship works. He tells me Dynasty is good and I should watch it. You know what I did the other day? I went home and I started it, and he's right. So I say, hey, you should watch Ted Lasso. And he flips me off and doesn't listen to me. This is how our relationship works.
You were going to watch the Dynasty anyway.
No, I actually wasn't. And then I got on. I have an elliptical in that room, and I jumped on it, and the TV was right there. And I was like, I'm going to do the elliptical. And I was like, what am I going to watch? And then I was actually on Netflix, and a sports thing came up, and I was like, oh, that does look interesting. And I go, you know what? Rory said Dynasty, and that's on Apple TV. So I flipped over to it, and I watched the first episode, and I thought, I'm glad I listened to Rory.
Fine, I'll give it a try. Good grief.
I guilted him.
Good grief. Anyways, I didn't realize that the whole...
By the way, don't watch it with Christy. Go ahead.
That's part of the problem. I got to find when I can watch it. Put on my headphones.
2 a.m.
I didn't realize that Deflategate was the moment where both Brady and Belichick were just like, F you.
Tired of each other?
They were tired of each other.
I haven't got to that point yet. So.
I knew that Belichick threw Brady under the bus.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how bad Brady got thrown under the bus.
Got it.
And, I mean, were the balls deflated or not? Who knows?
He says in the roast, he says he did it.
Well,
he was like, everyone, all this, you guys paid $20 million to get me up here to make me give a hard time about the deflated balls and who did that. And he goes, I'll tell you, I did it, motherfuckers. I was like, oh.
Oh, my goodness. Drew says, I've been crying for the past few years since the Dynasty has been over. Yeah, the Dynasty is over. Which is actually amazing.
I think you are back to early 90s Patriots.
To see that in our lifetime, to see from...
Remember when they were a joke?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When Drew Bledsoe was there, and Drew Bledsoe took them to the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers, and I thought, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be a blip on the radar, but that's cool. To see them go from that to just steamrolling everybody. And I love the fact that when Brady came back from Deflategate, because I believe it was Matt Castle who was the quarterback for 4 games. When Brady came back, they even said in the documentary, he had the largest chip on his shoulder, and even the other guys on the field or other guys on the team were like, you pissed Tom Brady off. You challenged his manhood and his, and all that kind of stuff. And
remember, Castle was playing good too.
He was playing good.
And there was that whole like, oh, well, do we have a controversy like they did with Bledsoe and Brady?
It's so funny because they also play some sports clip or some commentary clips.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Max Kaiser.
Oh, Max Kellerman?
Kellerman, that's it.
Yeah.
Max Kellerman. He there's a clip of him in one of the episodes. It says Tom Brady's done. Tom Brady's done. And I think this was back when Tom Brady blew his knee out. And Kellerman's like, Tom Brady's done. And I'm just like, boy, do you look like a jackass.
Egg on your face, my man. Egg on your face.
So anyways, I'm not a huge Patriots fan, but I'm a huge sports fan. And that entire documentary series was fantastic. If you love history of sports and all that good stuff, I love the fact, like I said, I love the fact that we all got to experience that as it happened. And then to be able to watch that and replay it again, it blows my mind at how awesome that entire franchise has been. I mean, they had 2 iterations of a dynasty there.
Good morning, Mr. Dittmer. I would say, too, and this is my opinion, I became a Patriots fan in the 90s because I'm a Coug.
Yeah.
And Drew Bledsoe went there.
Yep. Drew Bledsoe. Yep.
So it was like Seahawks and then Patriots for me. I love them. Right.
Yep.
I unfriended them in the early 2000s because I felt like Drew Bledsoe got stabbed in the back. Right. So.
Oh yeah.
Diehard coup. I'm like, whatever. You guys screwed him. This and that. Now, my point being is, in like everyone, like you start to hate people who are that successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I have circled back, I think,
I feel
to
like
where
a
I
lot
have
of
just
us
a
are
lot
like
of
that.
respect for the work ethic and that it took, right? And then the work ethic of a guy like, love him or not, like a guy like Tom Brady to go from
199th,
a mediocre college quarterback.
right? And they even addressed that in the documentary about his time in Michigan.
Yeah.
He really didn't get playing time until his 5th year.
Yeah, I mean, and he was never.
And even then, it was, I think, Drew Henson.
Drew Henson
was the other quarterback, and so many people wanted Drew Henson over Tom Brady.
Who ended up playing Drew Henson and playing for the Cowboys.
I wouldn't say he played, Bob.
Yeah. Paul, I'm back. Please start over. But I've come back around to, and I think what's helped me with that a little bit is to see Drew and Tom's friendship.
Yeah.
And how they're good buddies, and Drew's not bitter.
Yeah.
At least he doesn't. At least he says he's not. You know.
There's still going to be some
I tell
bitterness.
people I like them all the time, and I'm so. But
I think that's how we started the show.
Yeah. So I've come full circle on it. I like Tom Brady a lot more than I like Bill Belichick.
You know what? After watching that documentary, that's the conclusion I've come to too.
Really?
I've come to the conclusion that Bill Belichick, he's an asshole.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I mean, we all know it, but when you watch this documentary, he is such an a-hole.
And you know what? It's a good thing he became successful.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he was an arrogant a-hole before he was successful.
Well, he was back in Cleveland.
So
they talked about that.
Yeah, Bernie Kosar.
Yeah.
So if he wouldn't have ended up winning all the rings, like where, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, Drew. It was Jimmy G. You're right. It was Garoppolo. That's right. It was Garoppolo for the 4 games that Brady was suspended. That's right. That's right. And they got this one. Can we just pause for a second?
Yeah, it was Castle when he tore his ACL himself.
Can we just pause for a second and talk about how in all of this political correctness of the world today that I'm watching this documentary.
Oh, bro.
And one of the people that they're interviewing is a writer, I believe, for the Boston Globe.
I know who you're talking about.
And it says on there that Jimmy Garoppolo is a good player. He's got the skills, this, that, and the other, and he's good looking too. Can you imagine if a male sports writer said something like that?
Oh, if I said that about any of the female talking heads out there and was like, oh yeah, she's smart, she's a good job, and it doesn't hurt that she's easy on the eyes, like, you chauvinist pig.
Yes.
But it's okay for them to say it.
But I mean, she's not wrong. Jimmy Garoppolo is a handsome man.
Oh, I do. I mean,
and that's the show. We'll see you later.
That's gonna work its way into the intro one of these days.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
Yeah, and the thing was, Jimmy Garoppolo, he did a good job while Tom was out, but boy, did Tom just roll over.
Drew's salivating now.
Jimmy G is a handsome guy. But for me, it was when they went to the Super Bowl against the Rams. I wanted them to beat the Rams because the Rams, it was getting old with the Rams. And then I wanted to win the second time to have the back-to-back. That would be kind of cool. By the time they got to the third Super Bowl, I'm like, okay, guys, we're done. Get to the fourth Super Bowl. Was the fourth Super Bowl against the Seahawks? Or the fourth, not the fourth Super Bowl, the fourth Super Bowl title.
No, I don't think so. I think their fifth one was against the Seahawks.
I thought the fifth one.
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah,
I think fifth was against the Falcons.
Okay, yeah.
And sixth was against the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Okay.
No. Sixth was against Kansas City.
There you go.
They lost to the Eagles.
That's right.
Okay. I know Andrew's just frantically typed, no, I know what they did. Yeah. Anyways, my point is our
resident New Englander historian.
When they were losing to the Falcons in that Super Bowl, I was just ecstatic. I was cheering. I was so happy. Go down in flames, Belichick and Brady. We're done with you. And then by the time they were within a touchdown of coming back, I found myself turning and thinking this would be absolutely amazing if they could come back and actually
Well, that's
pull
the
this thing
sports
off.
fan in you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then by the time they played against Kansas City, I'm thinking Tom Brady's now in the old man club.
Yeah.
Bro, beat Patrick Mahomes, beat that youth, put him in his place. And so I found myself coming back towards
The
the end.
hilarity of this is, I mean, just like your emotional like roller coaster with that. If you think about it, like, so early on, you're like, yeah, I'm sick and tired of the Rams, who won one Super Bowl, by the way.
Right, right.
And had a quarterback who was like the salt of the earth, like
I
by
know,
all, you know
I
what
know,
I'm saying? Like good
I know.
Christian family man who worked his way through bagging groceries, and you're like, tear this mother effer down for a guy like Brady. Now, don't be wrong. I'm not saying
He's got his flaws.
bad guy, but he's got and an a-hole like Belichick, right? And then we hate him, and then you're full circle to him beating down a guy like Mahomes, who by all intents and purposes is the next is due sainthood.
Right.
Like you read articles about him, and he's like, he still just hangs out with his middle school buddies, and he's a great guy, and and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, man, we are really just cheering for the devil to win, aren't we? Like,
Well, I cheered for Brady when he played with Tampa Bay and won his last Super Bowl, because at that point to me,
the Italian stallion, Jimmy G. Yeah.
At that point, I'm thinking old man. I'm in old man mode of do it for the old men out there, because we can't get out there and win a Super Bowl, but do it for us, Tommy.
Yeah.
You can do it. But it's great. It's a great documentary. If you do have Apple Plus, or if you get an iPhone or an iPad in the next year and they offer it to you for 90 days for free, take it, watch it. It's good. I really enjoy
I'm
it.
gonna be honest. I had a really hard time with the first episode, only still because my Bledsoe loyalties. It was hard to rewatch that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot about how hurt he was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like it was just a turned ankle. Like, the man is in the ICU. Like,
could you imagine and Drew probably knows this. Could you imagine being a fan that beginning of the season?
gutted. Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, we got this. We got the team in place. Our dude is
$100 million quarterback.
Yep, we're good to go. And then just have him taken out. It's kind of like, well, not like Dale Earnhardt, because Dale Earnhardt died, but it was kind of like just a freak tackle. Just a freak tackle. And this guy is potentially could die.
Think about how many of that throughout history, though, of the game are they're not the huge hits.
Hey, Drew, we don't need to. We don't need to know who they won, who they beat. Okay,
Yeah.
we don't.
They beat the Rams. Go beat yourself.
You know what? Now I'm happy that Malcolm Butler didn't play in that Super Bowl.
Actually, I don't even know that they beat us. We beat ourselves. But yeah,
You should have given the ball to Marshawn Lynch. Okay,
Pete Carroll beat us.
stepping sound effects, stepping it up. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
On cue.
Boom. What was I going to say about that? I don't remember.
Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, it's amazing how many like freak hits that look like nothing in careers. Like
Bo Jackson.
that's where I was going next. Just a tackle from behind, almost died. Like just bleeding out in his hip, like completely done. Right, never to play again.
But you see guys
Cam
like
Chancellor, Cliff Averill.
Well, Cam Chancellor laid out what's his name on the 49ers. Who's the wide receiver that Cam Chancellor laid out?
Crabtree.
No, Paul knows. This is when we all went, oh, damn, Chancellor's player.
No. Vernon Davis.
Yes.
Tight end.
Yes.
Down the sideline.
He still played.
Yeah.
He still played another couple more years, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're like, oh, how's he going to get up from that?
Yeah.
But, yeah, Bo Jackson, he gets
Some
that
little hits.
that
Remember
freak.
when Dennis Byrd was paralyzed from the waist down with the Jets? Just a normal hit across the middle?
Well, and Utley.
Yes.
Utley. Yeah, some of these things are just – football's a scary
Well,
sport.
you look at like Travis Calloway, our speed and agility trainer here in the area for all the high school kids and stuff. Like, he's technically he is a paraplegic and he's walking now, but his was in soft hit practice. Just came around the corner, just kind of wrapped the guy up and took him to the ground. And
Rory Pitts, his podcast is broken. We've been saying that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't hide the fact that this sucks. And
absolutely.
I don't know why anybody watches this. I wouldn't watch it. I mean, we say
you know who does? Jeff Hansen.
It's not so much about us as it's about you guys.
He's like, this podcast is broken as he eats this popcorn. It's you, buddy, that keep us going.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway.
All right. Well, hey, there's a couple things that I had sent over to you, and I don't even know what we're going to talk about now. Maybe you can pull them up. I'm stuck in a fairy line. I get it, Paul. And thank goodness it's a FERRY line. Too soon?
No,
Too
never
soon?
too soon.
A little too soon? All right, I'm going to have to go back here. I got to look at my notes. Go look at my notes.
I'm going to talk about everyone canceling concerts.
Oh, there we go. There's my notes right there. That's not my note. That's my weed whacker string. Luke and Rory, right there.
What are we talking about?
So, came across this article, sent it to you the other day, and it is about artists out there that are suddenly canceling shows and tours. And I thought this was interesting, especially since, let me see if I can make this small. Well, let me make it small.
I should have reread this yesterday.
I don't. Yeah, there we go. Cool. We can do that. Can't see any of your comments, but like we really want to.
I can see them. We're good.
Okay, good. So this article was talking about now Jennifer Lopez. Who cares?
Yeah.
She canceled her tour.
She was on tour?
Yeah, I know. She wanted to spend time with family. Okay, cool. Whatever.
This one hurts.
The Black Keys.
That
They
hurts.
shifted from a stadium tour to smaller venues. I saw the Black Keys in the Tacoma Dome a few years ago.
So good live.
They were good. They were good. And the thing is, like with the Billy Joel concert, it was a fairly full stadium, but I mean, you can still see that there was a few seats open, not a lot.
That's how it was when we saw Chesney last year.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, I guess you had to use what is it called, Lumen Field.
Yeah.
But it's not like it was packed.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it didn't look sold out.
Yeah. And I didn't even know
Too big for the Key or for Client Pledge, but not big enough.
311 is still a band. I did not know this, but
Bro.
they canceled European tours.
They didn't know they were still a band. Either. That's why they canceled.
But I think we were talking to a gentleman earlier, Stefan. I knew I'd get it eventually.
Great guy.
And actually, we were talking to Kaylee.
Yeah.
See, now that we've said Kaylee's name, she's going to get a notification.
She'll wander back.
Yeah, she'll come right over here.
Yeah.
But we were talking about. I read another article that was talking about the YOLO. The YOLO economy is starting to disappear. And if you don't know what YOLO is, are you under a rock? You only live.
I know where you're going with this, and Biden told me everything's fine. So,
well, yeah, everything's fine. And the thing is with these two articles, the YOLO economy and the concerts, I think, are a great indicator of what's going on. Unless you're Taylor Swift,
bro, I can't even
you're probably going to start cutting back on your concerts. Now, the only reason I'm going to Foo Fighters at this point today is that I already bought the tickets.
Yeah, you wouldn't buy it. Yeah, I was thinking about selling them. No,
I bought the tickets back in January.
Well,
or
I
February.
think you're right, and I think the direction you're going with this, if I'm not mistaken, is the YOLO lifestyle is great when the economy's humming.
Oh yeah,
and you're not paying as much for a gallon of milk. Like
right.
When gas is $4.50 and milk is $5, and you can't go to the grocery store and get food for the week for under $300. Like you know. YOLO starts turning into, you only eat once, like today. Like it's, it's different. And I mean, we're both married, fathers of a full litter, and the whole YOLO thing, I think for a lot of families right now is not an option. It's not even so much that they don't want to; it's just not an option.
No, I was telling Ryan yesterday. We were talking. Ryan, I love the fact that Ryan is like the non-filtered version of me. So he's talking politics,
which is scary because you're not that filtered.
No, and we were talking about the economy, and I told him, I said, I think things are going. No matter who becomes president in November, I think the economy is ready to take a dip. And I told him, I said, I think we're starting to see it because, like, I canceled my trip with my brother that I was going to take in August. I canceled that and said, hey, you know what? I got to start watching the pennies here because, I'm seeing what's going on out there.
You have pennies, dude? Can I have some?
Actually, I have half a roll of quarters.
All right.
Yeah. We'll go to. Oh, we can't even go to the arcade anymore.
Ugh.
Can you play an arcade game for a quarter now?
Not really, no. Jeez. I think there's some old bars you can play a pinball game in for a quarter,
but the thing is he asked me, he's like, well, the girls going to go on their girls' trip later this year. This is what they do every single year. I said, I don't think so. Unless mom's getting a job. I don't think so. Which Christy is actively looking for a job, and she's actually got an internship right now, which is really cool.
Nice, yeah.
Giving her experience.
Absolutely.
But what are you guys seeing out there? We actually asked Kaylee because her, not really her father-in-law, but her boyfriend's father, he owns a 4x4 detailing company where you can lift your Jeep or whatever you want to do so you can go stump jumping. And she said that he's been busier than ever because he has a specific niche.
His clientele base, yeah, it's different. Yeah.
But we're hearing stories about people doing their own hair. We hear stories about people not going to the nail salon. We're hearing stories about people doing their own oil changes. What are you guys seeing out there? Are you guys seeing a dip in things?
Yeah.
I mean, according to
Or what are you doing?
the other indicator that I use is coffee shops. And when I walk into a coffee shop and I hardly see anybody in there, I'm thinking, ooh, okay, we're starting to see a dip. Not this morning. This place was jam packed when we walked in here.
It was, yeah. It's a little quiet right now, but yeah.
Well, it's 'cause we
I
won't
think
shut up.
I think that the prices going up in the economy the way it was and inflation and stuff was like funny ha for a while.
Right.
And now people are like, geez, it's like year 3. Like, I'm running out.
Well, I talked to Christy earlier this week and I said, here's where we're at. Do the grocery budget in regards to that. Yeah. And she's like, okay, cool. This helps me now that I know.
Well, and also, I mean, it's a I don't know if you call it a ripple effect, a chain effect, but like, also, from what I understand, talking to some people, tuned in while I'm waiting for 2 college coaches to call me back. Hope all is well. I love that plug, Nars.
Well, that's something that you guys might see over the next year or two is you might see a drop off.
Yeah.
Where families might be like, hey, even with a scholarship, we can't. I mean, we can pay for you to teach them, but we can't really
travel.
We can't travel or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you may see that too. Because I mean, if we're being honest, that entire thing is YOLO.
Yeah.
And it'll get to a point where families be like, I'm sorry, little Jenny.
I mean, what you have to do with that kind of thing is, and this was something we had to do with Maddie, was weigh it out. Like, does the investment now, as long as you know or you're pretty sure the investment now will take care of things later. Like, for instance, Maddie has all of her paid for. Like,
right.
So like, the ROI is there, right? But it's, the effect is everywhere because not only are we spending less, but if we're spending less, then companies are making less and they're paying their people less.
Right.
Or
And
not
that's a
getting
ripple
raises.
effect too.
Yeah. And so,
because I mean, think about if we stop doing the show here.
Yeah.
Well, then that's 2 coffees and a breakfast sandwich that they're now not selling.
Yeah.
Which means they're not making money to pay employees, which then means employees might have to be laid off. It has a ripple effect.
And people are getting laid off left and right. Like,
it's kind of scary, dude.
My hope is that, I'm seeing some good things. Our buddy Mike, Big Booty Crab, right down the road here, they just signed a new lease for a second facility in Kent.
You hiring Mike?
For their shipping and, for shipping and storage. And so, let me say one thing to go. Don't get twisted. Yeah. Big facts. And it's so. I mean, maybe that's a good sign. Because for a while they were completely. I mean, he was letting go of people left and right. Now he's trying to figure out space and all. Bodies and stuff. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but my feeling is that. Without being too political, this might be this November, no matter which way you vote. I don't know. I'm not talking about which way I don't care about that. I care, but this might be the most impactful election we've had in some time. I really think. Now, however you look at that and what impact you want it to have is going to influence what's important to you, I guess, is going to influence how you vote. But I've been voting since 1998. My first presidential election was 2000.
Legally.
Yeah, legally. Before then, my first presidential election was 2000. I can't remember in that time, and even paying attention, saying 96 and 92 when I was like 16 and 12. My parents. I can't remember a time being that heavily concerned, invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, where are we going? And I think there's a lot that's coming. It says, oh great, here's an impactful election indeed. And no matter which way you vote, great grandpa is getting voted into office.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, Ed.
Yeah. And, you know, and I'll say this about the two knuckleheads that we're more likely going to be voting for. And I was talking to Ryan about this again yesterday. I think Biden's a bad option, but I also think Trump is a bad option. And the reason I think Trump is a bad option is I think he is so wrapped up in his own ego, especially after what happened last week, that I truly think his focus is going to be on retribution. Retribution? Is that the word I'm looking for? Retaliation.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's going to spend more time trying to...
The reckoning.
Right,
Yeah.
the reckoning. I think he's going to spend more time trying to tear things down than to build things up. And great grandpa Biden, he's not in this, and we've talked about this before multiple times. This sucks.
Bro, let me tell you what.
This sucks who we have to choose between.
I am a child who grew up around a dementia-ridden grandfather, and I am telling you, the engine's still on, but there is no one behind the wheel.
And let's take a step back for a second. So if Biden doesn't run, more than likely it would be Harris.
For
right?
the love of God.
Right? It would be Harris. I mean, that would logic is not in politics, but logically, the Democrats would have to go with
We
Harris.
have to start doing the work, and the work is important work that we must be working on to get the work done, Rory.
So true.
Sorry.
But then to think about with the other guy. If he's not there, then who's next up? Who's next in line?
Well, both sides could use some young blood, right?
So not just young
some
blood,
fresh,
some visionary blood. Like I'm telling you, not Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm telling you, and obviously most of us were not born when JFK ran in 1960.
Yeah.
But we need some kind of visionary young blood, young buck, or young lady. Doesn't matter. Someone that wants to inspire us to move forward.
Too many skeletons in the closet, Nars. It's like you're way better at leading things. How about you?
No. Of course, with Weaver, it'd be whiskeys and cigars every weekend.
I was gonna say, I vote. Yeah, hell
Here's my presidential cigar.
Time for a fireside chat, citizens. All that to say, Nars, I vote for you, but I can't do that for 5 years because this man just turned 30 last week. Happy birthday!
Oh, that's right.
So
that's right.
Happy birthday, dude.
And Ryan Cloud said, unless there's a certain degree, doctor, lawyer, chemist, don't send kids to college. Collage. Yeah. Get them in the trades. Colleges are a crazy place, right? Oh yeah. And we're kind of going through that right now with Ryan. Yeah. We're trying to figure out if we're going to send Ryan off to OC or if we're going to try and find him a trade school in OC to still do a trade. So we're kind of going back and forth on that. Mariah says, and this kind of just shows on the economy right now. Mariah says, I started making my own taco seasoning and I'm getting ready to make butter. I've been making bread for about a year now. Well, that sounds like Ma Ingalls to me.
So I like what I love, actually, Ed. And
let's see.
Every once in a while, Ed has a good idea.
Let me get to Ed's idea. I'm getting ready to make my own ranch seasoning too, just waiting on 2 ingredients to be delivered. So I love that, Mariah. I love the fact that you're making your own seasoning, stuff like that. And that's things that we've actually talked about in our house too, is what are some things that we can make.
Get that garden going.
Yeah. You know, Christy got her garden going. She didn't do it last year because she was so busy with school. But she said, I have to.
I'm going to warn you right now. Don't be a deer or an elk walking through my backyard. I'm sustenance hunting, baby.
Keely says Tim Scott and Pete Buttigieg. One is the president, one is the vice president.
We've talked about this before, and I actually like this, Ed. It used to be that if you lost the presidential election, you were the vice president, so you had a Republican, a Democrat, or a Whig, and a whatever.
Yeah.
I love this. Can you imagine, either which way it went, Biden and Trump in the White House together? I think it would be great. Like, I would want reality TV. I would want just seeing old Joe, like, puttering around on the hallway on reality television, and then Trump coming in and saying something completely not suitable for work that I can't say.
like the freaking Odd Couple.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. Grumpy old men, dude.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Idiocracy would really truly become real.
Yeah.
To have a reality TV show.
They have their own press secretaries that have to hold joint press conferences every day. Like, it would be great.
Yeah. But never mind. I'm not going down that road.
I would say though, honestly, I know we joke about this, but I do think that there is something to the idea of, honestly, it was designed that way in the beginning to force people to force bipartisanship and to force people to work together. And we got away from that 100 years ago. I do wonder if forcing some sort of you're going to have to figure out a way to work together might not be beneficial. Just got back from a trade show in Florida. Business standpoint, companies are still spending because they have money. Record profits still for corporations, just high prices for the rest of us. Yeah, but and Ed, you might know this. Usually, that ripple effect hits their shoreline a lot later than us. Right?
Yeah,
we're like out on the peninsula. That wave got to us before it gets to their shoreline.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're just down the 6, 12, 18 months from feeling the effects that we're feeling.
Could be.
So
you know what? I would be more in line with removing the executive orders before I would be making Republicans and Democrats be president, vice president.
Can we talk real quick about that idiot the other day saying that?
I just want to make sure I'm clear. Executive orders, I hate them.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate them.
Yeah.
I want to force the Congress to do their damn job.
Or what if like you gave it's like replay, they get 2 a game. What if they got like 2 executive orders a presidency? Like, careful, don't use it. You might need it later.
You know what? I would be okay with that.
President comes out, throws a red flag at the press conference. It's like, I'm issuing an executive order, and then it doesn't work out, and like you lost your next one.
Yeah,
No, of course the rich are still getting richer. Yeah, true story, man. No, I just couldn't believe the audacity. And I don't care who you are, honestly. I think everyone, unless you're an idiot or you're just so like, I need to support the guy no matter what. Like, to see the president the other day come out and then bash Republicans and say he was going to close the border regardless of what the Republicans are doing, I was like, are you serious right now? Like,
so I'm glad you brought this up. I was watching Jon Stewart. I've mentioned this before. Jon Stewart does one show a week on The Daily Show, and he has his opening monologue on YouTube because I don't watch it, but I do watch his opening monologue. And of course, he was talking about Trump and his 34 felony counts or whatever. And what Jon Stewart said, like I've said before, there are times I agree with him, times I don't agree with him. Sometimes he hits it right on the head. Yeah. And they showed this
one with a lot of people.
They showed this one clip on Fox and Friends, whatever, and they're interviewing President Trump, and they ask him about the whole lock her up, Hillary, lock her up.
Oh, yeah.
And Trump says, "Oh, I never said that." I can't even. Ryan does a great job.
We have it on video, dude.
And that's what Jon Stewart said. He's like, we literally have it on video. And so we played 3 clips, and all 3 clips, they didn't say lock her up, but they were kind of within that
smart,
within that ballpark.
I'm telling you, they're smart.
And so Jon Stewart goes, okay. He didn't necessarily say it.
This is how politicians do things.
And then he plays 3 more clips, and he's saying it. Lock her up. And so Jon Stewart's point is you got 3 knuckleheads on Fox right there. At least one of them should have been able to pull a clip and say, hey, actually, you did say it.
Yeah.
Here's video of you saying it. But none of them called him out. And then Jon Stewart played other clips from CNN and MSNBC and all these other different things. And Jon Stewart says, the journalists, that's why you're there. You were there to go through the past and to designate
who, what, why, when, where, how.
Designate, did they say this? Did they do this? Yeah. What? You got to hold them accountable. Yeah. And he said journalists nowadays are so focused on the future. And he played a couple clips of, well, if Trump is found guilty, will you still support him? And like 4 different clips of this. And Jon Stewart's like, you need to do your job. You need to go back and you need to pull those clips about Trump. You need to pull those clips about Biden and hold them accountable. Well, and the thing is, in today's age, we got a crap ton of video and audio that we can play back and go, they did say this.
This day and age. Well, part of the problem, though, with Biden, you can't hold him accountable, is they don't let him answer questions. They wheel him back off the stage afterwards. And it's like, and then out comes Carrie Ann, Jean-Pierre, whatever,
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
And so, which is annoying. I'm like, the president should be available for some questions, for God's sakes. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing, like, and what's funny is I called this 6 months ago, I told Rachel, I was like, you know, it's funny. You watch as we get closer to the election. I was like, she was like, wow, man, gas prices usually go down in the winter and they come up in the summer. She's like, why are they going up in the winter? And I go, because they're reversing it right now. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, she's smart to figure out. She didn't see what he means. She's like, yeah, you're probably right. And we were talking about it. And then I was like, they're going to put them up right now. And then they're going to start killing them over the summer as we go into election. And I even said this, and I said, you watch. Biden's going to come out and do some kind of a border control immigration thing in the 6 months leading up to the election so that he can be like, look what I did. And here we are hitting summer. Gas prices have been going down. Suddenly Biden wants to control the borders. I mean, it's just like, but here's the sad thing. And I don't care what side you're on. It's people who want Trump. It's people who want Biden, whatever. You idiots. All of you are effing morons.
And you got to make sure that you're clear on it. People who want, not people who are like, okay, I'm going to hold my nose and vote for this person, but people who truly want Biden or truly want Trump.
Yeah. I mean, they cannot see the forest through the trees. They only believe what the last thing that was said to them. They don't, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever Biden said the other day about immigration, they're like, absolutely. And you can roll the video and they would from the last 3 years and they wouldn't believe you. You could show them the picture of their gas receipt from December when you were trying to buy Christmas presents and it was $4.50 or $5 and they wouldn't believe. Be like, you fabricated that. I'm like, pull up your bank account.
Wasn't it you that was telling me that somebody was talking to the president about the gas prices and how I'll just use numbers. These are not the right numbers, but I'll just use numbers. That you took office, Mr. President, gas was $4 a gallon, and now gas went up to $5 a gallon, and now gas sits at $4.75 a gallon. And the president was like, "See, we dropped to 25 cents."
Oh yeah. This is what they do, and then people are like, and then people are just like slow clap, like they're so happy for him. It's just. No one holds any of these idiots accountable, and which means you're the idiot because you're the ones that are like, yay, they're amazing.
Trump, yay. Mary says, personally, I think Congress and president's salaries should be reduced by the same percentage the national debt increases.
Well, then Nars has a great point. Salaries could be zero, and they'd still be rich with back-end deals and personal investments with partnering companies that help them. But which all of that, and Nars, you're onto that. That's what you're onto right there. That is the part that needs to change.
Yes.
There was a time, if you watch like documentaries, I love watching stuff on like John Adams, Hamilton, Jefferson, all kinds of stuff. And I'm not here to tell you that any of these people were phenomenal individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like that being said, let's just take John Adams, for example. Like people don't realize what an incredible man at what part he played in our country. He kind of gets put below, right? Washington, Jefferson, and all these guys. And Adams was probably the number one driving force between lots of the stuff that he wrote and how he went about things. He would go to Congress for 2 or 3 months, right? In January, February, March. And then he would go home to Massachusetts and be a freaking lawyer for 9 months because he wasn't getting paid to support and help his country. It was like a volunteer thing, or it was a stipend. It wasn't what it is now. It's like if you started making it so that, like Nars was talking about this, they can't make the back end money. They can't be paid by lobbyists. They can't invest in things when they're on the Congress floor or the Senate floor. Yeah. And it was maybe more of a volunteer thing, or it was only, they got paid minimum wage. You would get rid of a lot of the leeches and these idiots that shouldn't be in these positions anymore because they're only in it for themselves. You vote these people into office and you hope that they go and they represent your interests, but they don't. They represent their own interests.
And these are the people that say, we're going to change Washington, D.C.
And this is
think about it. There's Patty Murray, there's Chuck Schumer, there's Mitch McConnell, there's Ted Cruz. There's Pelosi. There's so many people on both sides of the aisle that they have made being in Congress their career.
Well, and the thing is that, and I'll because he's on here and he's made some good points, I'm going to use Nars as an example. Like Nars works harder than most people that I know on the behalf of families like mine, of families like Shay Shippen and Grace Richardson and all these other people. Now, does Nars make some money? Of course he does. Like he's running a business, but he ain't making Pelosi money. He ain't making McConnell money.
You mean you don't have a freezer full of quart size ice creams.
My point is Nars is in what he's doing, and granted, he's building himself a little empire, and he's going to make. In the long term, the idea is to build a great business that is sustainable and supports his family well. But the main reason he's in doing what he's doing is because he loves what he does, and he loves giving back to the basketball community and helping these families out. Those are the mindsets that you need running our country.
Yeah, he's one of the few that can actually mesh his passion for something with a job.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard. But I'm just saying it's like the mindset. Like I wouldn't want a solely business-minded person coming in to run FBC NWA, right? Because then they would just be like, how do we drive profits? How do we drive prices? How do we get more, right? You need somebody who cares about the product, cares about what they're doing, cares about the families and the people. The same applies to this country. The people that are running this country anymore are not running this country because they care about America or they care about your pockets or they care about our resources and our land. They care about their money. They care about their house. They care about their pocketbooks.
Right. And I mean, and that's fair. I mean, they're doing what they can to take advantage of the system. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it one bit. Narcissist politics lost sight of that.
Service first.
Yeah, service first.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. And I think that's, even like, why did we do the peanut butter drive? We didn't make any money off it.
No.
And I'm not trying to toot our own horn, right? Like I coached the girls' 4th grade team and volunteered other coaching stuffs and all that kind of stuff. I don't get paid for it. I'm not there for the money. I'm there because I love doing it and helping out. And I'm not saying I'm some golden child, just saying like the reason I do it. You need people in politics that are there because they love doing it, because they love giving back. They love making things better. They think that they have something to offer.
And the thing is, I feel like I would love to get into a political role.
Narcissist, y'all preaching. Absolutely, sir.
But it's so toxic and just corrosive that I don't want to.
Well, and you can't anymore. Like I remember 10, 15 years ago, one of my mentors, Professor Dr. David Seal, amazing individual who I love dearly. It's funny, he's pretty liberal and I'm pretty conservative, and we will sit around and have a whiskey and have the greatest conversations, and I respect and love that man so much. But he used to always plead with me. He's like, you should get into politics. Start with city council, start this. He's like, he would give me all these things. Like, you're whatever, you're a good speaker, you don't back down. He's like, I think you'd be great. And I'm like, here's the problem. One, I got enough skeletons in my closet that I'm sure we get drug out.
Yeah.
But I can handle that. That's fine. But here's a perfect example. When President Trump was in, and I remember it's like 2016, and Barron Trump's like 10 years old at that point.
Right.
And he's on stage, and newspaper articles are running articles about him looking frumpy or him like not paying attention or looking making fun of a 10-year-old, and you're grown ass people that have paying jobs, and you're making fun. I don't care that he's Donald Trump's son and that you're trying to get Donald Trump. You're using a child, right? And that was part of my whole thing the whole time. Is like, I would never put my kids through the rigors and the trappings of that drag through politics.
They did the same thing with Chelsea Clinton. They seemed to back off a little bit on the Bush kids, a little bit, and they backed off on.
But remember when
Obama's
they got in
kids.
trouble in college, like the Bush girls that got in trouble, like one of them was drinking underage, and I was like, the idiot who wrote the article probably was drinking underage. I'm like, get off these kids.
But the thing is, something like that, I'm like, if the family member does something stupid, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But if they're just being a kid, leave them alone. Yeah. And I totally agree with you.
Who was it? Chris Farley. They did the skit on that with Chris Farley back in the 90s. I can't remember what politician was speaking, and their kid was in the background going crazy. So Chris Farley did it. Was like, damn, like hanging on him.
That's right. I remember that
funny.
skit.
Yeah.
Who was that politician? Oh, man,
Nar says most people probably enter the realm with pure intentions. Then they go through the ringer and lose themselves in high pressure situations or outright sell their soul for the dollar bill. And you know what?
Patty Murray.
Yeah.
Paging Patty Murray.
I know. And you know what? I think you're probably right. And I hope you're right. And I think that there's some validity to that. I think that if you're going to go into politics or even like anything, like you're a high level athlete or you're making it big in Hollywood, you better be darn sure who you are.
Well,
and have a good, solid foundation. And honestly, really good people around you to keep you in check and remind you of who you are and where you came from.
There are two
And
past
who's counting on you.
there are two past representatives from the Puyallup area, and I'm not going to call them out because it's not fair. But they're good people that got out of politics. And I could tell you their names right now. I'll tell you off the air because again, I don't want to say their names to make it sound like I'm trying to pick on them because I'm not. I wish they were still in politics, but I also wonder if we were to sit down with them if they thought, well, I couldn't stay in politics because I was going to lose my soul.
Yeah,
Because one of them was instrumental in getting 167 funding
I know
to
who
punch
you're
it
talking
through.
about. Yeah.
And the other one was a champion for local small businesses in the area. And they're both out. They're both out of politics, which I was really stunned. But at the same time, I get it. I mean, I can't imagine that must wear you down having to go to Olympia and just deal with stupidity.
To the nub, dude.
Oh,
To
yeah.
the nub. Yeah, it's I have a hard enough time dealing with other agents and people in my industry, our industry.
Oh, gosh.
I mean,
yes.
Lord of mercy. Lock up the guns.
Nar says, why can a person run for state governor over and over and over? Never understood that. You guys may know better than me. It's the state constitution.
The state constitution just has no term limits on governor.
Yeah.
And it's
Which maybe they should now.
I think if anything, we've learned some lessons maybe in the last I would think that even the most staunch blue ticket voters have to at least sit back and be like, oh, there he is. How we doing, bud? Have to at least take a step back and be like, okay, we still want to vote blue, but we've got to find a better.
We're almost more disgruntled on the governorship than we are the presidency.
It's sad.
That man is the quintessential poster boy example of being useless in politics.
I had high hopes when he first came in.
Seriously, you
I
did?
mean, I was like, okay,
I've always not liked this guy.
but here's my thing. I thought he's kind of seems like he's a little bit more of an everyman's man. Maybe I was like,
doofy.
You're hoping, right?
From day one when he was a
take
representative, I'm like, this is doofy.
I can't take my kids to downtown Seattle. I can't really take them to the Capitol. You're constantly worried about what's going on around you, and there he is. With the kids, my head's on a swivel everywhere I go.
When I went to the Billy Joel concert 2 weeks ago, that was my concern.
No, there's no way this is normal. It is in Washington. Yeah.
I was concerned because I had not been to Seattle for a while, and I was actually scoping out parking spots before I went there because I thought I want to find the value between being as close to the stadium as possible, but not paying through the nose.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get to my car or get to the stadium and get to my car and not,
look, I got
step over poop and drug needles.
And I'm sure your kids are the same way. I mean, I have my kids. I have Lainey the other day. Lainey, my 15-year-old, who is telling me, no matter what she does for college, she's never coming back to this state.
That's brutal, dude.
And I thought, it's just because she listens to me say that, right? And then so I asked her for some reasons why. And she went down a list of things that I hadn't even thought of. And I was like, I'm coming with you, sweetheart. But as a 15-year-old, she started going through the tax, the state, not the income tax, but the state sales tax. She started going through capital gains taxes, how they tax retirement, how they tax real estate investments at such a high clip. Then the different laws that allow the hoodlums to run wild and free.
She's going to be a sniper.
I know. And I was like, and she was literally that serious. She's like, she's like, if I have nowhere to go after school for 6 months and you're like, hey, you can come stay with me. She's like, I will camp out in Wyoming or something before I come back to this state. And I'm like,
I love the fact that she knows what she wants to do.
Yeah.
Like you and I, we're just jackholes. We're like, I want to leave this state, blah, blah, blah. But then we don't do anything.
I know.
Like I took a trip to Montana and went, okay, I guess we'll stay in Washington.
No, you didn't. You said, let's go. And your family said, the hell we are.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I actually, and I'm in a good spot with all that, Maddie and Lainey don't want to be here, so they ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And so, and Rach and I are very dead set that we're not coming back.
Yeah.
So, as soon as the kids are gone, you know.
I don't.
Maddie's talked about coaching with NARS and all that kind of stuff, and she's like, NARS is gonna have to open up like FBC Wyoming or FBC somewhere else. She's like, because I don't want to be in the state.
I think that's a conversation that Christy and I are gonna have to have here in probably about a year. I mean, an honest to goodness, we need to have a conversation about this, because on one hand, we want to be, if the kids are going to be in this area, we want to be close to be grandma and grandpa. But
here's the thing: can you afford to do so? I mean, when you look at a state like, say, Wyoming, right, that has no, I think they have a sales tax. I mean, I think they have a small income tax. They have no state sales tax, no capital gains tax. They don't tax retirement. They don't tax. Their capital gain, their investment taxes are very minimal.
yeah,
And yet they operate in the black year to year to year.
I mean, I can. Let's see. Ed says, as someone who just moved, wow, I miss Washington. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
I've lived in
Actually,
other places.
Ed, why? Because you moved to Indiana.
And I love Indiana.
So, honest question: why? Why do you miss Washington? Is it the things that we think of, like the green trees and the mountains and the lakes and all that kind of stuff? Because I get that. That's why I want to stay for the nature.
You know, they have trees and stuff at other places.
Yeah, but not like Washington.
Nashville, Tennessee.
It's still not like
Smoky
Washington.
Mountains.
Still not like Washington.
See, and
Ed said, yeah.
It doesn't.
I would miss that.
It doesn't do it for me anymore. I even find myself coming back from Idaho just from camping and stuff. I'm crossing the pass and I just get more irritated. I'm like, here we are back in this hellhole, stuff all over the side of the road. It used to be that, and we ruined it.
Yeah.
And so I'm, and I've lived in other states, and it's funny is I've never really been like, oh, I miss home, like I miss Washington or whatever. Like,
what's funny is we had talked about a couple weeks ago about Kansas,
but I get it, Ed.
Nebraska, and why did we open up all those? Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, all those, Wyoming, and then they decide to have just like an influx of tornadoes in Kansas and Nebraska in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm thinking, never mind. Yeah. I'm good.
I want to be like in Twister, tie myself to an old well. Trees have graffiti and urine on them, Rory. But I'm telling you, NARS, it's fact.
So let me ask you a question. Is there a difference between country urine and city urine?
Yes.
Like, if I go outside to take a leak, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's not frowned upon.
My urine has whiskey in it. Their urine has meth.
So when I lived in Puyallup, if I went outside to pee in my backyard, that's frowned upon. But if I'm out in Tahuya and I go outside to take a leak, oh yeah, that's fine.
I just it's weird to think about, but
it's different. Trust me.
Yeah. And NARS lives in Seattle. So
that's right. Oh yeah.
Andy's from Port Orchard originally, so he's seen both sides of it,
bro. Port Orchard is growing, dude. I don't know if you've heard.
Fentanyl. Yeah.
There's fentanyl in the urine.
Oh my gosh.
Boy, let me tell you something. They are going roundabout crazy in Port Orchard. So.
Oh, dude, the roundabouts.
Okay, so you know where the main roundabout is by the bowling alley?
Yeah.
And you can either go up Mile Hill or you can go up Bethel.
Yeah. There's another one, right?
They're getting ready to install another one over there before you get to what is that? Lund? Before you get to Lund.
Yeah.
So before you get to the Safeway and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's kind of like an interest.
Oh, did he hit something?
Well, nobody's looking over there.
Backfire.
So probably backfired. Yeah, I figure everybody would be looking over there like, holy crap. Anyways, it's Lincoln.
Now I know you're full of crap, North.
It's Lincoln and Bethel, and there's one other road I can't remember what it is. Anyways, they're going to eliminate that Bethel and then Lincoln and all that kind of stuff. They're going to put another roundabout right there, and then further down Bethel, they're going to put a roundabout right past that old tavern that looks like it's going to fall down at any moment.
Yeah.
So Salmonberry.
Yeah.
They're going to put one over there.
Wow.
So they're going roundabout crazy over there.
Ed, can you collect the fentanyl urine, reprocess it, and sell it? I see an opportunity. We need Walter White.
Wait a second. What are we selling? The urine or the fentanyl?
Yeah. Either
or
way.
Yes.
Hydration.
They call it something like Smirnoff.
Smirnoff Ice.
I was thinking White Claw.
Well done, dude.
But that would have racist connotations. So maybe.
Oh man.
Caucasian Claw.
Oh man.
Give me a little CC.
Oh man, here we go.
Oh boy. All
So,
right, let's.
We could go all day. We could. I got to get off the air.
Well, let's talk about one more thing because I thought this was interesting, and I know we probably should have talked about this earlier. We were talking about sports, but we got all wrapped up in this. So the NFL
Side rant.
could be facing a $21 billion lawsuit.
Oh yeah, I didn't know about this.
So basically, I'll read this to you. A 2015 complaint by a San Francisco pub against the NFL's handling of out-of-market broadcasts has evolved into a major class action lawsuit. The suit challenges the NFL's exclusive Sunday ticket package, alleging antitrust violations and inflated prices. The potential damages could reach $21 billion, threatening the NFL's media rights model. Plaintiffs argue for more competitive broadcasting practices, while the NFL defends its current model as beneficial for fans in maintaining competitive balance among teams. So, long story short, if
NFL will win. NFL always wins.
well, the thing is it's actually a 7. So potential damages are estimated at $7 billion, which could be tripled to $21 billion in an antitrust case.
Crazy.
Long story short is that if you're a Seahawks fan, you can get the games here.
Yes.
I think they even got rid of the blackout rule, if I remember correctly. So you can watch the Seahawks games locally. If you are a Patriots fan, unless the network uses that as the game of the week, you can't see it. You have to get the Sunday ticket or whatever in order to see your team who's in a different market. And
that's crazy.
And so basically, I'm just kind of looking at some of the notes here. So the lawsuit now represents millions of fans who paid for the Sunday ticket package. The NFL's exclusive deal with DirecTV for Sunday ticket is claimed to be anti-competitive, inflating prices, and limiting consumer choice.
Why is it that, like, I've always found this funny. Say you have Comcast and you have streaming or something like that, and you're watching the game on your phone. You're like, oh, the Hawks game, watch it on my phone. But the moment, say, you go on a road trip to Montana, you can't watch it anymore because it says you're now out of market.
Right.
But I have Fubo TV. It doesn't matter where I'm at in the world, I can watch my home market.
That's interesting.
Why is Fubo getting away with that, but no one else is?
That's interesting. And I think that's the gist of this entire thing
Yeah.
is that if I want to watch, if I'm Brew and I want to watch the Patriots in Nebraska, I don't want to watch the Chiefs. I want to watch the Patriots. And I think that
you might want to watch Chiefs right now, dude.
Yeah. And I think the thing is that there's no other option for him other than, well, no other legal option, I guess, than, and I don't know anything about Fubo, about you being able to do that, but he has to get Sunday ticket in order to watch the Patriots. Whereas the Patriots, or let's just say their channel 13 in Boston, be able to sell a package where if you're out of town, you can watch the Patriots. So, I mean, let's say you pay $10 a month to Q13 Fox and you live in Texas, but you're a Seahawks fan. I should be able to pay $10 a month or $20 a month or whatever it is to just watch the Seahawks. I shouldn't have to buy Sunday ticket to have all of these teams, because I don't care about the Ravens. I don't care about the Dolphins. I care about the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the thing is that you have to get that package in order to watch your team. So it's,
should be some kind of a la carte option.
It's millionaires and billionaires fighting over millions and billions of dollars. At the
It'll
end
be
of the day,
interesting to
the
see how it
fans are
shakes
going to get screwed one way or another.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to be careful with a la carte, because I think we all wanted a la carte with cable, and we got it. Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Max. We get all these things, and if you think about how much it costs to have Netflix and Prime and all these other different things, you're right back up to cable TV prices again.
True story. True story.
So I don't know how I feel about this, simply because it's millionaires and billionaires fighting over money. As long as I can continue to watch the Seahawks on local over-the-air television, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
Now, if I move out of the area, but I still want to keep track of the Seahawks, it might be a different story. I might care then.
But there, I was going to say, is there any sort of fan base dwindling for the NFL? I wonder.
I don't know. That would be something to take a look at.
But that's an argument for another day. I'll be interested to see where this goes because I think that's been I think just on a personal level for your Hawks fan, NFL fan in general, like it feels like every time you find a way to maybe keep up with your team or whatever, they find another way to make more money off of your way, and
Yes.
like it's constantly, like we're just talking about, like I will be moving in about 10 years, and it's like,
You literally had to look at your watch to know 10 years.
yeah, well, I got a message at the same time, but,
Let me see.
bro, North Mason education, dude.
Yeah, in about 10 years.
North Mason education. Wasn't mathing. But I mean, like say I'm living in Montana or Wyoming or Tennessee or buy my own island somewhere. Like I would like to have options to be able to watch my home team. You know, what does that look like? Right now, Fubo TV works, but also when I first started using, I just canceled my Fubo TV because when I first got Fubo TV like 3-4 years ago, it was like $59 a month, and I'm like, this is reasonable. I get the Mariners wherever I want. I get the Kraken wherever I want now. I get the Sounder. I get the Hawks wherever I want. Plus, I have some good cable TV options and all that. Well, then now it's like $100 a month, right? It's gone up, and God only knows if that's Fubo or why that. I'm sure they're getting charged more to carry the stations that are, and now they don't carry. Fubo and Turner had a spat, so there's no more Turner, so no TNT, TBS, and all that. So
You know what's frustrating to me, and we can actually stay off Highway 3 today from
North Mason to Safeway.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow, Coach. It's tomorrow. It's
1500.
Oh wait, no, it is today. It's the 6th. I thought it was Friday.
6th.
I thought the senior slowdown.
Once again, Mr. Dittmer's right and you're wrong.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's a boomer.
Here we are again.
he's got his ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Me, I don't have any ducks.
Good info, Coach. Thank you.
Shoot, that's today.
All right, I gotta go.
Fudge. Okay, well, thank goodness I did everything on that side of Safeway.
Now, Rory,
thank you.
Now Rory is going to drive to Bellingham and take a ferry to.
I thought senior slowdown was on Friday, but it's on Thursday. Okay, well, there you go. Here, let me put this on there. Coach is right. Stay off Highway 3 today from North Mason.
All you Belfarians.
Yeah.
Quack, quack.
And as a student, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it from 3 to 4:30. As an adult, you sons of...
Stop sucking, Rory. Let these kids have fun.
Graduation. Okay, graduation must be Friday. Okay, cool. There was a
We stay in school till August.
There's a point I was going to make. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So if you want to listen to the Seahawks on the internet, you got to pay for a package. But if I turn on the Seahawks on terrestrial radio, not a problem. And to me, that has always bugged me.
Why? I'm in my car. Yeah.
That always bugs me because I think to myself, you can have ads. Just play the damn broadcast you already do on terrestrial radio. You've got the ads already built in there. I'm thinking I would rather have more people listen to the broadcast so I can start charging more for ads because I can say not only do they hear it on terrestrial radio, but they hear it on the internet as well.
And then I get to hear about what else Pfizer wants to put in my body. So
that's another story for another day.
Whoa.
That is for sure.
Oh, man.
All right.
Have you seen that? I saw that like last week. We'll talk about this another time, but like a whole roll of all these Pfizer commercials. Talk to your doctor about this. Brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Bye, Kaylee.
Brought to you by
not my daughter.
Brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah.
Brought to you by, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Tell your doctor what you need.
I need you to fix the problem.
Yeah.
We won't get into it today, but
That's
there's starting to be some cracks in the dam on this whole COVID vaccine stuff. We won't go into it today, but I'm starting to read articles.
How about your boy Fauci the other day saying he just made crap up? Yeah. Where'd you get the 6 foot rule? I don't know. Sounded good.
Right.
it was like, I don't know. Sounded good.
The thing is, Luke and I don't want to be right about our conspiracy theories.
I know.
But we're starting to look like we're right.
Follow the science until you find out that the science was horseshit. Oh, man.
All right. So two quick things I want to share.
This is why I did. Hold on.
Okay.
This is just like question everything.
It's
Question
okay.
everything.
It's okay to question
Like
everything.
every citizen in this country should be like, hold on.
Right.
We want Jerry to do it first and then see where he's at in a year or two. Like, what is with the blind? I don't understand the blind trust of the government in general. And I've seen idiots this week on social media being like, well, Fauci's,
he's a scientist. He works in that field. He should know those things.
I know. Anyway.
I've had one family member, when I brought that up about the 6 foot thing, I
Yeah.
had one family member say to me, well, that was the best that they knew at the time. Like, but they made it up. They made it up. They had no science
All right,
behind
before
it.
we get bitter.
I know.
And Coach, shout out to North Mason High School junior Adriana Topolo, the 2A state discus champion, the first female state champion out of North Mason since
Leah Francis?
Yes.
In the javelin.
Correct. The javelin.
The javelin.
That's a new one.
The javelin.
Oh, man.
And I'll tell you a quick story about Leah Francis, because I'm sure she couldn't care less about our stupid little show. But I remember that somebody had mentioned to her, hey, you should go out there and throw the javelin. She goes out there, first throw. And I could sense it from all the coaches.
Yeah.
Okay, you're now our number one javelin thrower.
Yeah.
I mean, Leah Francis was the most talented female athlete I think I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's like everything that she touched.
I've never done this before. Wham! Hits a tennis ball.
Bro, I still remember in Pee Wee's when she was a pitcher. Bro, she threw heat.
Yeah.
Like my freaking hand was Leah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you stop eating steroids with your breakfast? Yeah.
But yeah, she's a badass in everything. I don't think
Yeah.
there was any sport that she touched that she did not excel at.
Rumor has it she was going to play pro ball, but it was too easy. Yeah.
Says very good, Luke. Yeah, Leah Francis
Nailed it. Yeah.
So 2 things. First off, it's National Moonshine Day. You ever had moonshine?
Yeah. It's a wonderful concoction.
I had probably the legal version of moonshine, just like this side of legal in Nashville. It's like, I think the place is actually called the Moonshiners
Yeah.
on Broadway. Bro.
I've had my own moonshine. Almost killed me.
Bro. That stuff. I think I told you that story. I told my brother, say, hey, go get me whatever you get me. But he didn't hear that. He just heard, go get me something.
Yeah.
So he got a drink that actually had flavoring in it. It was not pure moonshine.
He got you gasoline.
He got me gasoline. So he brought it down. He's got, he's got a regular cup that's got something in it. He gives me one that's about this size, and it's just moonshine.
Rory was passed out 5 minutes later.
I took a drink. I'm like,
Father.
But it was one of those things. Yeah, you're just like,
Yeah.
And then so I had everybody try a sip, and they're like, oh my gosh. And then of course I take it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, So I can't imagine what real moonshine tastes like. But what I had, which was just this side of legal.
Well, in Norway,
Mama.
it's very common to make moonshine because alcohol's so expensive in Norway. They do it intentionally to do.
The way the economy's going?
Yeah. So they make. So when I was there in 2005, they were like, yeah, like 80% of the country makes their own alcohol at home. They call it garge. They sure enough, like this guy handed me a bottle. It was a Coke bottle that was filled up with garge. It was just clear. That's why I have all this hair in my chest. I look like I was 11 before then.
Clean engine parts with this stuff.
You know what? Let me tell you a story another time next week. I'll tell you on the air maybe about my experience with garge and how I woke up in a warehouse in the middle of Norway with no idea where I was at.
Pants down by your ankles.
Hitchhiked back into town. Yeah, golly.
Oh, see that, and that's why he can't run for president.
Yeah, exactly. That stuff would come out. They would find my buddy Mickey in Norway that did that to me, and he'd be like, "Oh," and he has some stories. Can't do it.
The last thing I want to put out there is today is the 80th anniversary of D-Day.
Yes, it is.
And I know we talked about Saving Private Ryan, I think last week. But if you get a chance, go watch Saving Private Ryan.
Or just a documentary on D-Day that's an hour long.
It's just amazing. Still, that generation to do what they did,
they're harder than we are. Yeah.
So pray for the souls that were lost. on D-Day, and pray for the gentlemen that survived
They're probably
D-Day.
praying for us.
Yeah, well, they need to because
What are you guys doing?
we're a hot mess right now. But anyways, 80th anniversary. So,
That's it.
That's it. That's all.
Really
I know.
appreciate you guys joining us. Thanks for letting us go on some rants. We appreciate you guys jumping in. Really appreciate all the feedback. Coach and Ed and Nars and Cloudy, everybody. Really appreciate you guys.
I just feel like if we would all just have more conversations and less social media keyboard warriors, we could actually get our country back.
Social media is the devil. Yeah.
Bro, I'm counting the days until.
That being said, I need to post.
So true.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing going on this weekend that we know of.
It's got a bunch of graduation parties. Lainey has her last orchestra concert tonight.
Next week is graduation week for Miss Weaver. Yeah. Can't wait till Thursday's show. Bring some tissues because this guy's going to be a blubbering mess.
Yeah, hot mess. So, all right, guys, love you. Have a great week. Be well. Treat each other well. Give each other a high five and slap on the rear end.
Heyo.
Take care.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!